Hey, you know me, I'm a Ted Santos, and I got a message. Maybe I got a problem. It making my head spin. You see, I got this going on. Now today I wanna make your head spin. I got a problem because every day in your life they teach you to be a victim. A victim. You got a problem and you don't even know you got a problem. You learn that you victim and don't know you victim. I want to make this a very short and sweet. Before you reject what I gonna say, I ask that you listen very careful and think. They don't want you to think. Today I give you the opportunity to think. Everybody, everyone. You thought to be victim. They make your head spin with victim. They teach it to you. They teach you a myth and they make you say it, recite it over and over. Like I pledge allegiance to the flag, they recite over. They teach you many things to be victim. And you never question. Never. See, if you look throughout history, there are many myths promoted. They teach in the scientific world. Por example, at one time, about 40% of women they die in the hospital when they give birth to child. A gentleman, he come and he say, this is a problem because you don't wash your hands. His name, Louis Pasteur. Louis Pasteur said, germs are killing women. The doctors, the scientists, they all laugh. This man is a joke. We don't have to wash our hands. They say, you, Pasteur, you believe that little tiny microorganisms that you can't see kill women. Go. Go away, man. Go away. So, Pasteur, he had to move. Nobody want to wash their hands. In fact, they work on dead body, right? Explore. This is 1800s, 1850. And then someone say, oh, woman have baby. Come. So work on dead body, go to woman have baby. Germs from dead body, now in woman giving birth. Woman die. Pastor just say, wash your hands. In another case, at one time in Europe, Europa, they believe the earth is you see, the center of the universe. I am center of bird universe. They revolve around me. They believe the earth the center of the universe. All the planets go around the earth, including the sun. Most people, you know, Galileo. Galileo changed this thinking. But before Galileo, there's a man named Copernicus. Copernicus was executed 40 years before Galileo was born. And Copernicus, well, he said, no, all the planets go around the sun, not the earth. The earth goes around the sun. The church said heresy, execution, you're dead. Yet the smartest, the most educated astronomers all believed all the planets go around the earth. This is what was believed. It was taught. And this still happens today. What I want to tell you is like Pastor Copernicus. It is going to sound crazy, ridiculous. And what you've been told and you never questioned is that you have an ego. I know. the belief in the ego is so strong that you're going to start talking to me about the id and the ego and the spirit and all this stuff you heard them say in Greece. You just can't hear it because you're so smart, just like the astronomers were so smart and knew all the planets went around the earth, right? Boop, 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 boop. Or that washing your hands were ridiculous. That's what you'll believe. So here's the punchline. When you believe there's something in your head that's responsible for your behavior, you just became a victim, right? You say your ego made you do it. Or people say, well, he's that way because he has a big ego. In other words, you have no responsibility for what you think, say, or do. Everything that's, let's say, distasteful or brings disagreement is the work of your ego. And that makes you a victim of an ego. And there's nothing you can do about it because your ego is in charge, right? That makes you a puppet. And your ego is the puppet master. What a life. You should be spinning like these birds. Well, maybe for some of you, you are. Does that mean humans never grow up and become responsible for what they think, say, or do? Or is the ego needed to convince people that they will never be capable of being responsible for what they think, say, or do? So the ego is a boogeyman, and you're the victim of a boogeyman. And because the boogeyman runs your life, people smarter than you need to run your life for you. They make all the laws and they tell you what you can and cannot do and what's good for you and what people are ready for and not ready for. So what I'm saying is people truly in power teach you that you cannot govern yourselves because you're the victim of an ego. The ego will cause you to make poor decisions. Therefore, someone must govern the masses who have these egos. And by the way, these are people who have been trained to know they're responsible. Like, these are people who have gone through training to know they're responsible for their own lives. It's not an ego running their life. There is training for that. And for the rest of you, well, does that mean that you have some little man in your head, like the man behind the curtain in The Wizard of Oz? That little man is pulling the levers and speaking for you. He controls you when people don't like something you said or did. And that makes you the poor little innocent child who's victimized by your ego. Your ego is forcing you to do things that are not in your best interest or not in the best interest of someone who wants to exploit you. See, at what point will people become responsible for what they think, say, and do? In other words, you face the fact that there's no such thing as an ego. See, I've asked brain surgeons and medical doctors and neuroscientists, where's the ego in the brain? And they've all said it does not exist in the brain. You cannot find it. It's no little man in your head. There's nothing in your brain forcing you to do anything. Your actions are the result of conversations you have with yourself, not as an ego speaking for you, like the Wizard of Oz. Ignore the man behind the curtain. See, when you develop high-level listening skills, you discover many of these conversations in your head are playing like a radio station. If you've read my book, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The radio, I go into great detail in this book. It's actually a highlight in the book on how the radio station causes people to sabotage relationships of any kind. So the other catch is the voices you hear on the radio station. Well, most of them are your parents, the voices of your parents, teachers, movie stars, books, friends, family, etc. And then there are those conversations like uh, Mondays suck and thank God it's Friday. Those are conversations that you inherit from society, and no one knows who made them up. Because as much as you want to say, well, you get paid on Friday, or happy hour is Friday, or Friday's the end of the week and I can party, like that's just made up. Days of the week are made up. That's an example of something you believe because someone told you to believe it and you never questioned it. Days of the week are made up. You can enjoy every single day. And people who say, well, I get to party on Friday. Well, what about people who work on Saturday and Sunday and they get off on Monday and Tuesday or Wednesday and Thursday? They get paid on Wednesday instead of Friday. Like that, it's just all someone made it up. Ego is made up. It's a way for you to not be responsible for what you think and to say, well, it's this thing that I can't see. And I understand Pasteur said these are microorganisms that you can't see. Well, we could later see them. I'm saying you can be trained to literally hear the conversations playing on that radio station telling you what to say, what to do, what not to do, what to be afraid of. Mondays suck, all men cheat, all women are gold diggers. Like all these conversations that make you almost like a robot. See, if you're responsible, you'll come to the realization there's no ego. There are conversations you have with yourself. In fact, as I said, the conversations are a radio station. And you can't turn it off. So depending on the environment you were raised in, the frequency of your station, like the kind of language, the thoughts, the quality or lack of quality of the thoughts, it's going to vary from person to person. So if you've read my book, it would be a good idea. If you haven't read it, it would be a good idea to read it so you can take charge of your life. That way you can put an end to being a victim of an ego that controls your life. Take responsibility for your thoughts and put power back into your hands. Don't buy the ego. Buy my book. And then like, share, and subscribe. I want to hear your thoughts. And I know many of you are going to have a difficult time with this. Listen to this more than once. But I can promise you, there's no little man in your head. Ask any doctor. They will tell you. You have a brain and you have neural paths. Like my channel. Subscribe to it. Share the video. Thanks a lot. Talk to you soon and goodbye.